A question I get asked quite often is, what are your favorite mods, or what mods do you recommend for Anno 1800? So I thought I would start a new series of videos where I list some mods that I think are really, really good that you should have in your game. Now we're going to be separating these by category, and the first one we're going to take a look at are quality of life mods. These are mods that I think just, make the game a little bit better in terms of gameplay and mechanics. These are not mods that add any sort of new production chains or ships or buildings or anything like that. These are just mods that make your gameplay a little bit more interesting. All of these mods are going to be available in-game on the mod browser through mod.io, so all you have to do is subscribe to them straight from the main menu. So with that, let's get started with the first one. The first one on our list is a really, really simple one. It is the Bigger Harbor mod from Spice It Up. We all like to build nice, big, grand harbors in our game, and honestly, the available harbor space is a little bit small in general. Bigger harbor, it just increases the size of the harbor area. I believe it's about a 50 to 75% increase in the available construction area of your harbor, so it gives you a lot of room to build a nice big harbor area. You can see on the screenshot right here how big that harbor area is. Normally, the cutoff is going to be somewhere right about where my mouse is going, so you can see how much more space you have now. It's a nice big wide open area for you to build a nice large harbor with. So if you're someone who likes building big harbors, go ahead, grab this mod, and you will love yourself for that. And if you find any of this video helpful at all, do me a big favor and leave a like and a comment down below. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel for more Anno 1800 content. I know it's a little cheesy to say, but it does help the channel out tremendously, and I cannot do this without you guys' support, so big, big thanks for everything so far. Now this next one is actually kind of a two-part. You need two mods to make this one work. It is the River Slot Buildings, and then the River Slots Old World, New World by Taladus. This mod is awesome. This actually makes the rivers in the Old World and New World serve a purpose. So many people hate the rivers, especially in the New World, because they're just a hindrance. They're in the way, and you don't get any benefit from them. With this mod, you actually have some benefits from your river slots. You can build buildings on them now. In the Old World, you can build fisheries, which unlocks at 50 farmers, a river clay collector, which is 1 worker, a river sawmill, which is 1 artisan, a river flour mill, 1 artisan, and a power plant, which is 1 engineer. So really great selections right there. So you don't have to have all your fisheries on the coastline. Now we can have fisheries on the water. Same with the clay collector, those sawmills, the flour mills, and the power plant. Really, really cool additions for the Old World on those river slots. In the New World, we can do fish oils, pearl farms, clay, sawmills, gold washers, and a river power plant at Artistas if you have the New World Rising DLC. Again, amazing, amazing options right there. This really makes the rivers so much more useful in everything in the game, and I definitely would recommend this if you are looking to increase the usefulness from those river slots. Now, this is not save game compatible. If you do want to use this mod, you do have to start a new game for it to generate those river slots. So this is a new game sort of mod. So just be aware of that, and if you want to use it, go ahead and restart, but you will not be disappointed with it. So next on our list is the New World Commuter Pier. Now, I know this one seems a little bit redundant, since with Empire of the Skies, we have access to the airship platform with a commuter module. The thing is I'm not really a big fan of Empire of the Skies DLC. It's not my favorite. So I do like to play with it turned off quite often. However, I do like the ability to share workforce between my islands. I think that's a really cool feature of the New World in that DLC. So instead of that, I will use this mod right here so I can still get the benefit of sharing the workforce between the islands without having to have the somewhat frustrating management of Empire of the Skies, especially with AI dropping packages and different things on your population all the time, and it's kind of annoying. So this right here gives me a good alternative to having to use the DLC. Now, I know that there are mods just like this for Embessa and the Arctic. However, I don't use those specifically because they are not even available through DLC to share workforce. And I try to keep the quote cheat stuff down to a minimum. So this right here, I don't feel is very, skipping game mechanics or anything because it's available in a DLC. So this is a great alternative if you don't have Empire of the Skies or you just don't really want to build airship platforms and do the commuter piers on them. So great little quality of life mod right here. So next up we have a longtime favorite of many, many people, and that is the AI Shipyard mod from the Spice It Up collection. The AI Shipyard mod simply allows you to build a special shipyard that lets you bring in AI characters into your game if you start the game with no AI opponents. In order to get the 3-star AI, and I believe there's a couple of others that you need that are kind of higher level, you do build an embassy, which uses the Court of Justice building from the campaign. And you build that, and then you can bring in some of the more high-level AI into your game. All it does is it builds a single ship that is tied to that AI, and then they will go settle an island and start expanding and doing their normal thing. This is really, really great, especially for new players who might be a little timid to play with AI at first, but they might want to bring them in later on. This gives you that option. I like using this option for a lot of my builds because I like to kind of get settled in and build up, do my thing for a little while, and then bring in AI later on once I feel comfortable with where I'm at and I have what I want, and then I get a little lonely and I want some friends on the map to play around with. So really good option right there for either newer players, or if you started the game with no AI and then you kind of be like, I really wish I had some AI on the map. Well, now you can with the AI Shipyard mod. Now, this one right here, I feel is a must-have, especially if you're playing in the Cape Trelawney region from Sunken Treasures. This mod, the Active Trader Nate, increases the fleet that Nate has access to and increases his sell budget. What that means is Nate actually has more than one ship available. By default, Nate only has a single cargo ship that will go around and do passive trade with your islands. In Cape Trelawney, that makes the region really, really poor for passive trade. You get all of those really cool specialists. You get a specialist called Hogarth from completing the Sunken Treasures DLC campaign questline, and he has a lot of good bonuses for passive trade. However, Cape Trelawney is the worst region for passive trade because the only AI there is Nate, and he only has one ship that goes around to all the islands. So this gives him an actual trade fleet, so that increases the amount of passive trade that occurs. Alternatively, if you're using a mod such as a Crown Falls in the Old World mod, like I am using in my current playthrough, this also will just give him a bigger fleet and gives you more passive trade opportunities aside from just Kahina and Archie. So it's a really great quality of life mod right here. I really, really like Nate having a bigger fleet, so you get more passive trading going on. To me, Anno is a game all about trade, and having more trade opportunities is just a big, big bonus to me, and I really like that concept. The last quality of life mod I'm going to talk about is one that is a little near and dear to my heart because this was a personal request of mine to Benengriff, the maker of Spice It Up, and he was kind enough to put this mod together for me. Now, if you'll rewind a little bit and remember back to Game Update 12. In Game Update 12, they accidentally broke the fog in the Arctic region. And when they broke that fog in the northern part of the Arctic region where all the Arctic scrap is at, we could see the entire glacier and we didn't have to go hunting around with 500 airships just to keep it uncovered so we could find Arctic scrap up there. Well, in the very next hotfix patch, they fixed that and the fog came back. Well, I absolutely hated it. I have limited time. I don't have a lot of free time to sit around and play for hours and hours on end, and I need a lot of Arctic scrap for a lot of things I craft. So having the Arctic glacier area uncovered was amazing. When they removed that and fixed it, I went to Benengriff and said, hey, could you make a mod that brings the bug back? And he said, yeah, not a problem. And this was what he came up with. It's the passage charts. What this does is it adds a legendary quality chart, essentially, to either, you can buy it at Kumak, the Inuit trader, but it does take a while to find it. It's not always very common. Or you can occasionally find it in Lost Arctic Cargo on the glacier itself. And when you use the item, you right click on it to use it, it uncovers that northern part of the map. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, I have already used the item in this game, but as you can see, the entire glacier is completely uncovered. I don't have any fog hiding anything, and I can see all the Arctic scrap up here. And all I need to do now is hold down Shift and right click on it all. And I can go pick it up, and I don't have to spend forever rolling around trying to uncover it and see where it is at. This makes it so much easier to go up here and get all the Arctic scrap. Now, if you were wondering what that Arctic cargo is, where you can sometimes find the map, it looks like this. This is Arctic cargo right here. It's these brown boxes as opposed to the scrap, which is these kind of black boxes right here. This is Arctic cargo. So these are what you could randomly sometimes find the maps in. However, I typically just go over to Kumak and just roll and roll until I find it over there instead of hunting around for these right here in the fog. So that's how I like to do it. This just is a time saver, literally, is all it is. It saves so much time because you're not having to sit and hunt for all of this Arctic scrap up here. Now, my time is precious. I'm sure your time is precious. And the Arctic scrap hunt is just not very fun. And I really wish that they had, just left it uncovered. Because by that point, the Arctic DLC had been out for like, what, a year and a half, 2 years almost, I think, at that point. And, we'd all had the fun of hunting for scrap. Let's just go ahead and be done with it and let us just go get it ourselves. You see, he's already gone around and picked up 13 and we're good to go. He's going to get some more. It's a great little mod. Very, very happy that Taben and Griff made it for us. So if you are tired of hunting for Arctic scrap, go ahead, grab this mod and go get it yourself so easily. So that's it, guys. That's a few quality of life mods that I highly recommend that you get and you play around with to see if they work for you and they help your gameplay out a little bit. I have more videos coming later with other categories such as production changes and updates, new types of buildings, new types of ships, all kinds of things coming very, very soon for recommended mods for your game. So I hope you will stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, guys, take care.